Hey everybody, welcome back for Proverbs 24. I am glad you're here. Thanks for checking this out today. If you've got any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below. And likes, shares, and subscriptions are all appreciated. Lets me know you're out there and listening. So let's go ahead and get started. Proverbs 24 verses 1 and 2. Do not be envious of evil man, nor desire to be with them. For their hearts devise trouble, or their hearts devise violence, and their lips talk of trouble. So there's a couple of things here in these couple of verses we've talked about before. Not being envious of evil, crooked, however you want to call them, foolish people that find some wealth, even if it's temporary or even if it's not even there. Because the statistics say that even those that appear wealthy, a lot of times it's on credit cards and debt and whatnot. So wealth is a relative term, I guess, but do not be envious of those evil men. So don't be envious of what they've got, or definitely not how they got it, because there's, it's a straw house. There's not a long term legacy being left there, and if it is, it's not one that you want in your family. So, and it says, "For their hearts devise trouble, and their hearts devise violence, and their lips talk of trouble." Evil people do evil things, and by being around them, we associate ourselves with that. So we need to avoid that at all costs. Excuse me. Proverbs 24, verses 3 through 7. By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled, and with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his might. For by wise guidance you can wage your war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory. Wisdom is too high for a fool. In the gate he does not open his mouth. So here we see the contrast of an evil man and the empire or house or whatever gain that they can show. And then verse 3 talks about building a wise person building a house. And it says, by wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it's established. By knowledge the rooms are filled, and with all precious and pleasant riches. So by wisdom, you can also build a house, but it's going to be established, it says in verse 3. Its rooms are going to be filled with precious and pleasant riches. And I don't know that this is necessarily physical wealth, but by wisdom we can build a house that we're proud of. By wisdom we can build a house and fill it with love and compassion and the ability to raise Christian children. And it may not be as opulent or nice to look at as somebody else's house, but if God establishes it, then it's going to be better off in the long run. And if wisdom establishes it, it's going to be better off in the long run. And we see in verse 5, a wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his might. And it goes on in 6, for by wise guidance you can wage your war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory. So we see that, a wise man is full of strength. Wisdom will lead to strength and ability to do things, and in this case to even go to war to fight the battles that you need to fight. But it does point out that wise guidance and an abundance of counselors is what you need to be able to wage your war. So again, we can't do this alone. We need to seek wisdom. We need to seek guidance, and in an abundance of counselors, there's victory. I believe somewhere else in Proverbs it says, in abundance of counselors, there's wisdom. There's a lot to be gained by an abundance of counselors. And then it goes on, wisdom is too high for a fool. In the gate he does not open his mouth. So wisdom is unattainable for a fool. They just don't have the patience or ability do that. And so when they're in a situation where wisdom is being shared, they will finally be quiet. We've talked about many times where diarrhea of the mouth or not being able to keep your mouth shut is an indication of foolishness. But this is saying, when wisdom's being shared in the gate, and the gate back then was kind of like a gathering spot. It was kind of like the front porch in the neighborhood of the 60s and 70s or whatever time period where you would go out and sit on the front porch and have conversations with your neighbors and people walking down the street. So in the Bible times, they would do this in the gate. They would all the wise men would gather there and share wisdom and talk plans for the city and their families and whatnot. And so a fool would have nothing to contribute in that situation. Verse 8 and 9, whoever plans to do evil will be called a schemer. The devising of folly is sin, and the scoffer is an abomination to mankind. So we see that planning evil is also a sin. So not just executing on evil plans, but even making evil plans or thinking through the logistics of evil plans is also a sin. It gets our mind off of things that we need to have it on seeking wisdom and on seeking things above. If we're our minds in this spiral of trying to seek vengeance and repercussions of evil done to us, or if we're just stuck in a bad cycle, a bad mindset, it can distract us from that. Verses 10 through 12, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Rescue those who are being taken away to death. Hold back those who are stumbling to the slaughter. If you say, behold, we did not know this, does not he who weighs the heart perceive it? Does not he who keeps watch over your soul know it? And will he not repay according to his work? So we've got a couple of things here in these few verses. In 10, it says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. We've talked about seeking wisdom and how that builds up your strength and your ability to continue. And so in the day of adversity is when that's tested. And if you faint, your strength is small, and that's something you need to work on. But the goal is to rescue those who are being taken away to death and hold back those that are stumbling to the slaughter. Our goal and our point as Christians is to rescue those that are headed in the wrong direction. The Great Commission is to go and make disciples. So not only are we going to try to make converts, but we're trying to actually make disciples and create wise followers and wise believers, and mentor and build up and disciple folks. And that is the ultimate goal. And then if you say we did not know this, so if somehow you're able to say that you just didn't know that people were going, or people that weren't following Christ are going to their death, or if, for whatever you're not aware, it points out that does not he who weighs the heart perceive it? Does not he who makes the judgment call that will ultimately judge us, does he not know what you did and did not know? And he will only hold you responsible for what you do know. And he that watches over your soul, knows what you are, what you know about and what you don't know about, and he will repay man according to his work. So ignorance is not an excuse. 13 and 14, my son, eat honey, for it is good, and the drippings of the honeycomb are sweet to your taste. Know that wisdom is such to your soul, and if you find it, there will be a future, and your hope will not be cut off. So here it is comparing honey and wisdom. So, honey is something sweet. It's something you have to work for to get, but once you get it, there is a reward for that. So wisdom's the same way. We have to seek it, but that when you find it, there's a future and a hope that can't be taken away. So by seeking wisdom, we're investing in our future. We're investing in hope, and by by seeking these things out and trying to learn and trying to do, seeking an abundance of counsel by searching out God's word, there's wisdom. And in that wisdom, it's not just the ability to have knowledge and the ability to share knowledge, or, as we've learned, sometimes the ability to keep our mouth shut, but knowing that there's a future and a hope there that can't be taken away, that can't be cut off. And then lastly, 15 and 16, lie not in wait as a wicked man against the dwelling of the righteous, do no violence to his home. For the righteous falls 7 times and rises again, but the wicked stumbles in times of calamity. So again, we're not planning evil against the righteous. We're not planning evil things against anyone, and we're doing no violence in their homes. But this is a really interesting verse here in 16. It says, "For the righteous falls 7 times and rises again, but the wicked stumbles in times of calamity." So if we're quantifying, or if we're defining ourselves as righteous, then we would identify with the first part of this. And it says, "For the righteous falls 7 times and rises again." I think most people know this, but 7 was the number of completion. So it's not necessarily, the number after 6 and before 8, and that a righteous person will fall only 7 times. They will not fall 6 times. They will not fall 8 times. But what it means, or what I think it means, is that, the righteous falls. They just do. And I think we all fall to some extent. And the righteous are going to fall too. And they're going to fall, to completion. They're going to fall all the time. But the difference between the righteous and the wicked is that the righteous gets back up. The righteous rises again, but the wicked stumble, and they just continue to stumble. They don't drag themselves up. They don't stop stumbling. They just stumble. That's what they do. And so, as if we're trying to put ourselves in the righteous camp, we're trying to put ourselves in the wisdom camp, then these are some things we can look to guide us down that path. And so that's what I've got for today. Tomorrow we will pick up with verse 17 and finish out chapter 24. We've got about 6 or 7 chapters left of Proverbs. So if you've got any ideas for the next book we want to do, let me know those in the comment section or send me a message. Appreciate you being here. Have a great day. Thank you.